Hello guys. So for this section we are going to talk about the outcomes-based teaching and learning plan in web systems and technology. So technically I will be just highlighting on the important part of this, Obtlp for short. So on this web systems and technology, the program or the course description is that this course provides the students with the fundamental knowledge and understanding of developing dynamic web applications and its corresponding support systems. The course requires the use of different technologies in order to implement various web applications, specifically using PHP scripting language and MySQL database. The program intended learning outcomes, or PILO, is to understand the basic knowledge of computing fundamentals, various algorithmic principles, computer science theories, technical concepts, and practices. Best practices and standards in software development within a specific application environment, mathematics, science, and domain knowledge appropriate for the computer science and IT practices to the analysis, modeling, abstraction, and conceptualization of computer software-based solution model from defined problems and requirements. Second, apply personal skills, interpersonal skills, and technical understanding in solving problems. Third, design computing solutions responsive to community needs. Fourth, recognize recent developments in computing and information technology. And lastly, to respond overtly as an individual and as member or a leader in diverse teams in multidisciplinary settings. The course intended learning outcomes. It will deploy contents. It should deploy contents within web applications, design and implement a website, and integrate it with other IT applications, and propose possible improvements in the implemented web application to enhance security and avoid vulnerabilities. So all throughout the semester, we would like to discuss the following topics. So let us start during the preliminary period. Of course, we are done with the following section. Our orientation is currently happening. This is going to be the CCC vision and mission, goal objectives of the college and the department, and of course the class policy. That's for week one. And we would also at least wanted to tackle a couple of lessons within the first week, which should include the basic syntax review. Um, it is about introduction to PHP, the PHP tags, echo, comments. In variables, it will contain variables, constants, data types, variable scope. Operators such as arithmetic, assignment, comparison, logical. Arrays, numeric, associative, multidimensional arrays. Control structure, if-else statement, else-if statement, while loop, do-while loop, for each, switch, break, and continue. We will be discussing as well reusing code and writing functions, such as why reuse code, using require and include, using require for website templates, using functions in PHP. Why should you define your own functions? Base, basic function structure, parameters, scope, pass by reference versus pass by value, returning from functions, and returning values functions recursion. That's gonna be for the preliminary period. Now, under midterms, which is technically we're expecting it to happen within the 7 to 8 week. It's all about working with files, which includes writing to a file, appending to a file, reading a file. We will also talk about object-oriented PHP, which includes object-oriented concepts, creating classes, attributes, and operations in PHP. We will also discuss instantiation using class attributes, calling class operations, implementing inheritance in PHP, and designing classes, writing the code for your class. During week 9 to 10, we will discuss using MySQL, design web database. It includes relational database concepts, how to design your web database architecture. Well, we are going to create your web database. Note on using the MySQL monitor, log into MySQL, creating database and users and privileges, introduction to MySQL privilege system, setting up a user for web, using the right database, creating database tables, MySQL identifiers, column data types. On week 11, we are expected to discuss the following: working with MySQL database, what is SQL, inserting data, retrieving data, updating records, altering tables after creation, deleting records, dropping tables, dropping a whole database, accessing your MySQL from the web PHP or web with PHP rather, how web database architecture works, basic steps in querying a database from the web, checking and filtering input data, setting up a connection, choosing a database to use, querying a database, retrieving the query results, disconnecting from the database, putting new information in the database. For the finals coverage, we are going to talk about advanced MySQL, which includes privilege system and detail secured MySQL database, more information about databases, queries with indexes, optimization, types of table, loading data, MySQL database backup, and of course MySQL database restoration. So pretty much this should cover the entire semester for web systems and technology. Now, there may be additional topics that we can still talk about, such as the e-commerce security issues, running on an e-commerce site such as goal, types of commercial websites, risks and threats, e-commerce security issues, the importance of information, security threats, balancing usability performance, cost, and security, creating a security policy, authentication principles, using authentication, encryption basics, private and public key encryption, digital signatures, and certificates, secure web servers, auditing and logging, firewalls and physical security. So for this, these are just added topics just in case we will be able to have additional time when we after we finish all of the other topics, no, parang mga add-ons na lang ito. So we might be able to cover this, implementing authentication with PHP and MySQL, and implementing secure transactions with PHP MySQL before our final examination. Now, for basic readings on this subject, I would suggest you to look for the following books in our library. This is Munich 2017 Web Design with HTML and CSS3 Introductory, the Global Media 2017 Art of Web Page Designing, Prasad 2018 Internet and Web Technology, and 3G e-learning 2018 theory, practice, and techniques in web development. I also included some of the topics covered here on this Obtlp found online. So meron tayong mysqltutorial.org, sololearn.com, and w3schools.com. But you can still look for more extended readings online. Marami po tayo niyan. So that's all for our OBTLP, and the other things that you need to know about this will be discussed as we progress on our lesson.